I took a job watching an empty building. That's it. No customers, no employees, no cleaning crew. Just me, a security desk, and a building that had been abandoned for almost 10 years. The pay was suspiciously good. The hours were worse, and there was one rule that seemed so ridiculous I almost laughed when I heard it. Don't look at the third-floor windows after midnight. I thought it was a joke. A weird initiation, a way to mess with the new guy. 3 nights later, I learned why nobody else wanted the job, and why the man who trained me quit without giving notice. My name is Ethan. In the fall of 2022, I was broke. I'd lost my warehouse job, my rent was overdue, and I was taking anything that paid. When a private security company offered me overnight work at an abandoned office complex outside town, I accepted immediately. The building sat on the edge of an industrial district. Years ago, it had belonged to a software company. Then the company disappeared almost overnight. The offices were emptied. The furniture was removed. The power was shut off on most floors. Since then, the building had sat untouched. Nobody bought it. Nobody renovated it. Nobody seemed interested in it. My job was simple. Watch the cameras, do hourly patrols, report trespassers. Easy money, or so I thought. On my first night, another guard named Carl showed me around. Carl looked exhausted. Not physically, mentally, like someone who hadn't slept properly in months. As we finished the tour, he stopped near the front entrance. "You can go anywhere in the building," he said, "except after midnight." I laughed. "Except after midnight?" He nodded. "Don't look at the third-floor windows." I waited for the punchline. It never came. His face remained completely serious. "Why?" Carl stared at me. Then he said something that made absolutely no sense. "Because eventually it'll notice you looking." Before I could ask another question, he grabbed his bag and left. I never saw him again. The security office was on the first floor. Inside were 12 camera monitors. Most showed empty hallways, dark stairwells, vacant offices. Nothing unusual. At 11:58 p.m., everything looked normal. At exactly 12:01 a.m., camera 8 flickered. Just once. I leaned closer. The image stabilized. Nothing there. Then I noticed something strange. One of the third-floor office doors was open. I was almost certain it had been closed earlier. But I couldn't be sure. I told myself I was imagining things. Still, the feeling lingered, like something had quietly changed. At 1 a.m., I began my patrol. The building was silent. Every step echoed through empty corridors. The third floor felt different. Colder, not physically, emotionally, like entering a room immediately after an argument. The hallway stretched ahead. Dark offices lined both sides. Every door stood open. I stopped. The doors had definitely been closed before. I knew they had. A chill crawled up my spine. I checked every room. Nothing. No people. No signs of entry. Nothing. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been standing there moments earlier, watching, waiting. At 1:37 a.m., I returned to the security desk. Camera 8 flickered again. This time I saw it. A person. Standing at the far end of the third-floor hallway. Motionless. Tall. Thin. Almost too thin. The image lasted less than 2 seconds. Then the figure disappeared. I immediately reviewed the recording. Nothing. The hallway was empty. The footage showed absolutely nothing. I checked 3 times. The figure wasn't there. But I knew what I had seen. I returned the next evening determined to prove it was stress, fatigue, an overactive imagination. At midnight, camera 8 flickered again. This time the figure appeared closer, not at the end of the hallway. Halfway down it, standing directly beneath a ceiling light, its face remained hidden in shadow. I froze. The image lasted longer than before. Maybe 4 seconds. Then it vanished. Again. No recording. No evidence. Nothing. My stomach dropped, because now I knew something impossible was happening. At 12:45 a.m., I remembered Carl's warning. I turned toward the building. The third-floor windows faced the parking lot. Dark, silent, empty. I almost looked. Then stopped myself. The warning echoed in my head. Eventually, it'll notice you looking. I don't know why, but for the first time I felt genuine fear, so I looked away. The third night changed everything. At exactly 2:17 a.m., every camera in the building went black, all 12 screens. Simultaneously, the office fell silent. Then one monitor came back online. Camera 8, only camera 8. The figure stood directly in front of the lens, close enough that I could finally see its face. And I wish I hadn't. Its eyes were wrong. Too large, too dark. Its skin looked stretched, like something pretending to be human. Then it smiled. a slow, unnatural smile, and the screen went black again. Seconds later, I heard a noise upstairs, a door slamming, then another, then another. The sounds moved downward. Fourth floor, third floor, second floor, first floor. Something was coming down. I grabbed my flashlight. Every instinct screamed at me to leave. Instead, I walked toward the stairwell. The door stood slightly open. Inside, darkness, complete darkness. Then I heard breathing. Not mine, someone else's. Slow, deliberate. Waiting, just below me. I shined my flashlight down the stairs. Nothing, but something caught my attention. Words, written on the wall. Hundreds of them, layer upon layer, carved into the concrete, all repeating the same sentence. Don't look back. Over and over, thousands of times. Some looked decades old. Others looked fresh, as if someone had written them recently. Very recently, a sound echoed behind me. Footsteps. I turned. The hallway was empty. Then I heard another step. Closer. Another. Closer. Another. Right behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Then my flashlight flickered. For one brief second I saw it. Standing inches away. Smiling. Watching. Waiting. And then the light died. I don't remember leaving. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in my car outside the building. The sun was rising. The security office radio crackled beside me. A voice came through. Calm. Static-filled. Barely audible. It said, "You looked." Then the radio went silent forever. I quit that morning. Never went back. A month later, I learned the building had finally been demolished. At least that's what the newspapers said. Because sometimes when I drive through that industrial district late at night, I still see it, standing exactly where it always was. And every now and then, on the third floor, someone is standing in the window, looking back at me. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, would you take a job watching an empty building? For one night if the pay was high enough.